This move will unlock the Rangers and create a dynamic first line heading into this upcoming season. But will new head coach Mike Sullivan make the major move? I give my take here in just a moment. Welcome back to Rangers Digest. I am your host, Bret Botfeld, and it is great to be back with you guys for another edition of Rangers Digest here on YouTube. And before I break down the major move the Rangers can make to improve this team without sacrificing any assets at all, a quick reminder that about 77% of you that watch these videos are currently unsubscribed, so please hit that free subscribe button down below so you can stay up to date with everything New York Rangers. And guys, let's hop right into the video. We have a report that recently just came out from NHL insider Frank Saravelli. He says, I don't think anyone is legitimately interested in acquiring Mika Zibanejad right now. It is buyout proof. And guys, the reason I bring that up is because we here on the channel have floated around the possibilities that what if Mika Zibanejad were to move his no trade clause? What if he were to do that? The possibilities for the Rangers would be endless because this is a player that would certainly garner some interest. The Rangers would be able to shed that $8.5 million salary. He is just in the fourth year of that 8-year contract, making $8.5 million. And as we saw last offseason, the Rangers released Barclay Goodrow. We saw at the deadline the Rangers trade captain Jacob Trouba. Now this offseason, we've seen the Rangers move on from alternate captain Chris Kreider, and now we're about to see Keandre Miller most likely get moved here. So the Rangers have certainly been making a ton of moves and getting rid of a ton of players that was on that President's Trophy roster, the team that was just 2 wins away from a Stanley Cup final. So we were floating around ideas about Mika Zibanejad possibly being next. Darius and I broke down that bombshell report from Larry Brooks about that players-only meeting at Artemi Panarin's house, and Mika Zibanejad was certainly a ringleader at that players-only meeting, deciding to quit on Chris Drury and head coach Peter Laviolette at the time. So Mika Zibanejad has been in the news here, but as I just reported from Frank Saravelli, he says he doesn't think anyone is legitimately interested in acquiring Mika Zibanejad. Well, why would somebody be interested in acquiring Mika Zibanejad? And we're going to get into that right now. This is still a productive player on the offensive end, and now that the Rangers will most likely retain him for this upcoming season and moving forward here, I'm going to discuss a major move that they can make when it comes to Mika Zibanejad and this team and how they would be able to improve. If we look at him from an offensive perspective, this is where he scored 9 out of his 13 total even strength goals against the first pairing quality defenseman. So 69.23%, nearly 70% of his even strength goals came against the top pairing defenseman of the opposing team. 7 out of his 17 primary assists in even strength against the first pairing quality defenseman. So 41.18% of his assists came against a top pair defenseman line. So Mika Zibanejad can still certainly contribute against the elite of the elite. You see that he's been able to produce when it comes to goals and assists against those elite defensemen. For example, the Cale Makars of the world, the Quinn Hughes of the world. So this is a guy that can certainly still produce. Moving right along here, he is a versatile goal scorer, guys. He still is a versatile goal scorer. From this past season, he was able to put the puck in the net with tip-ins, with a backhand, slap shot, 8 wrist shots, 5 snap shots. So this is a versatile goal scorer still, not too far removed from that 92-point season he had in 2022-2023. But this is a player that has certainly been on the decline these past 3 seasons. But now that it looks like the Rangers are going to end up retaining him because Frank Saravelli has reported that there is no interest in him and he has not moved his no trade clause, he will be a member of the Rangers moving forward. So I spoke about how he can still be productive on the offensive end. I've also spoken about how he's been on the decline these past 3 seasons, but this is a player that will be coming back to the Rangers and with a familiar face. David Quinn is coming back under new head coach Mike Sullivan, and it was known that Mika Zibanejad lobbied for David Quinn to come back. Let's not forget that when David Quinn was the head coach of the New York Rangers for 3 seasons, the Rangers made the playoffs during the COVID year, but they were really a non-threat during that season. But during those 3 years under David Quinn, the Rangers were elite on the power play, top 5 every single season on the power play. He created that power play dynamic with Mika Zibanejad, with Artemi Panarin. Zibanejad was at his best on the power play when David Quinn was here. So Mike Sullivan has brought back David Quinn to this roster. And not only that, I know David Quinn will be doing a lot of defensive work on this Rangers team, but he is certainly still a very bright mind on the power play. Let's not forget that this past season, he took the Pittsburgh Penguins, who were 30th on the power play before he arrived, to number 6 in the entire NHL on the power play. So I'm sure he will still give his input on the power play and help Mika get back to form. But not only that, the Rangers are looking to mend things with Mika. As it is known, just last week, head coach Mike Sullivan actually flew out to Sweden to meet with Mika Zibanejad and talk about how he can make improvements for this upcoming season. And guys, a major move that the Rangers need to make, Mike Sullivan really has to entertain doing this, is permanently moving Mika Zibanejad from third line center to right wing on that first line or second line, guys. If we take a look at this Rangers roster, obviously they have the identity fourth line, but look at the right wing position. There is not a lot of quality there. There is not a lot of depth there. They currently have Alexis Lafreniere, a traditional left wing, slated in at first right wing, guys. That is just simply not going to work. He is coming off a very, very poor, lackluster season as a Ranger. I don't believe he will ever be a star or a superstar in this league. I do think this past year was an outlier for Laffy, and he will return to being a good, solid contributor, but not a star. Certainly not your first right wing. And I like what I saw this past season when Mika Zibanejad was at right wing with JT Miller at center and Artemi Panarin at left wing. The way Puckpedia has it slated right now, they have Vincent Trocheck on the first line with Artemi Panarin. But like I said, you would have options. You could put Mika Zibanejad at first right wing. You could put him on that second line with JT Miller and Will Cooley, who the Rangers are hoping to re-sign. And like I've said in previous videos, guys, the Rangers are paying Mika Zibanejad $8.5 million. What team pays a player $8.5 million just to stick him on the third line? It doesn't make sense to me, guys. Look at the Florida Panthers. 6-figure contracts flooded throughout that third and fourth line. I'm glad the Rangers' fourth line has a lot of 6-figure deals on it, that identity fourth line, because Florida has proven you don't need big money players on that third and fourth line. And Mika Zibanejad making nearly $9 million, only in the fourth year of his 8-year contract. It's already absurd enough, but having him on the third line making that type of money just doesn't make sense to me. And guys, it's proven that when he played right wing this past season, he was extremely productive. In just 25 games, he scored 28 points, guys. He was over a point per game player when he was at right wing, especially productive when he was with Artemi Panarin and JT Miller. But like I said, at least bringing Mika Zibanejad from center to right wing gives you options. It makes right wing look a whole lot better. Alexis Lafreniere is not good enough to mask the issues that are there at right wing. Like I said, this is just not going to cut it. I'm not expecting the Rangers to win the Stanley Cup, but if they want to get back to the playoffs, it just doesn't smell right. It doesn't look right. The Rangers are going to need to do something about right wing, and I think moving Mika there would certainly help, and it would open the door, guys. It would open the door to bringing in some other players who the Rangers have been rumored to have interest in. Guys like Shane Pinto on the trade market, guys like Marco Rossi on the trade market, just to name a few, because those are guys that could play third line center for you. And Don't forget, Marco Rossi is going to be in the market of getting a bridge contract here, guys. So he's just coming off a 6-figure deal. So it's not like you're going to put him, let's say you acquire a Marco Rossi, for instance. He is very unhappy in Minnesota. That's been clear. So let's say you stick him on that third line at center. It's not like you're going to be paying the guy $10 million or even Mika Zibanejad money, because like I said, it just wouldn't make sense to have a guy making that kind of money on the third line. He may be making, $4 or $5 million on a bridge deal, which won't kill you. It won't handicap you. Even a Shane Pinto, for instance, he'll only be making a little over $3 million. You could put him on the third line. Obviously, I'm just throwing out some options here because the Rangers have been linked to these players. I'm not saying you go out there tomorrow and get Rossi or Shane Pinto and stick him on the third line. I'm just saying those are the type of guys you could look at. If you move Mika to right wing, they would fit nice at third line center, not making too much money. Shane Pinto, nice two-way center. Marco Rossi, same thing. He's got a high IQ. I know he's a bit undersized, but very high hockey IQ. And he would be a nice fit, certainly, on that third line. There are going to be a lot of options if the Rangers move Mika to right wing. So they have to really look into that. And like I said, he was extremely productive when he did play right wing, over a point per game player. So if the Rangers want to bring Mika back to form, I want David Quinn to give his insight on the power play because Mika was at his best when he did that. I want the Rangers to move Mika to right wing because he was at his best last season when the Rangers did that. So if Mike Sullivan wants to get the most out of Mika Zibanejad this upcoming season, because it looks like the Rangers are going to be stuck with Mika, they really need to move him to right wing, and they need to get him back on track when it comes to the power play. But I want to hear what you guys have to say in the comment section down below. What do you guys think about getting Mika Zibanejad back to form here? Do you think moving him to right wing would change the dynamic of the Rangers? Do you think that would vastly improve the team? Because I think it will, not only because he's a better player at right wing, especially this past season, but because it would open the door for options that the Rangers could bring in to replace him at third line center. Options that make more sense, that are younger, faster, cheaper, guys that you could stick on that third line and fit in nicely. So I want to hear what you guys have to say down below. And once again, if you haven't hit that free subscribe button, hit that free subscribe button so you can stay up to date with everything New York Rangers.